time formatting of those machine systems. Okay. So it has to be absolutely clean. No data should be there. If any data is there, it will go off immediately. Okay. So let's talk about some of the key topic. For the day today. Okay. So yesterday we talked about the basic concepts of what are the precautions we need to take as a forensics professionals when gathering the data sets, gathering the evidences. So for gathering, any evidences, what precaution we need to take as a team. And we have also covered the aspects of forensically secure data sets, evidences, and the best practices attached to that. While we'll delve into the chain of custody little later on, because that's not part of the syllabus, but chain of custody is very important, component that we must learn as a part of the journey. And the manual that I'll be giving you, for forensics will give you separate, manual for forensics when the session will start ending. And that will definitely cover some of the best practices of gathering of evidences, as well as, what are how to maintain the chain of data, chain of custody, and take care of the most important component of evidence gathering, which is how to do the different type of, forensics, how to use the commands. So that will be there in details later on. Okay, so today we'll cover, 3-4 important topics, and we'll do a lot of practicals around that. Some of the practicals. The only challenge with the practical is that when you run the commands, when the practical starts, it takes time. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have asked all of you to be on mute, because if you are not on mute, then you will not be able to unmute yourself now. And one SSD disk for practicals. Some of you are new, so you may not have that. So please, procure it and keep it ready for you for real life practicals around that. Okay. So we'll try to cover up some of the exercises today. And this is the core forensics training, which I started yesterday. We have given you a complete feed on how to gather an evidence. What are the precautions we need to take while gathering the evidences? We also talked about the write blockers and how write blocker functions and why write blocker is so important. And then today we are going to use 2-3 commands. We will start with DD command, and I'll give you a snapshot of what DD command is all about. Okay. So let's understand DD command. DD is delta, delta, D and D. Okay. This is data duplicator. Earlier in 1995, it used to be known as disk duplicator. Now it is data duplicator. And it is used for copying and converting the data format. This utility is known for its power and efficiency in handling various tasks related to backup, system intelligence, and recovery. And DD command is a very old command, by the way. If I look into the origin of it, it started in the 7th version of Linux in 1978. But purpose of that time was limited, and it was not as extensive as it is today. So it has seen the evolution over a period of time. it's not, it is just for historical perspective. Earlier, there used to be, and now in the lot of printers they are coming, they use it, PCL and JCL commands. Okay, this is known as job control language. The Tribhuvanji, this is not done. You need to put yourself on. Why you people are unmuting yourself and putting, disrupting the class actually. We need to be little, why you need to open the mute unless, I ask you to unmute yourself. Okay, just put it yourself on mute. Okay. So when it comes to the DD command, there are many features attached to that. Okay. And it took, over a time, more than 20 years to evolve. What we are seeing it today is a much more advanced version of DD command. I remember when I did my, forensic course in 1995, there was no tool that time. It was all about DD command. And we used to do all practical using only DD command. But the new generation DD command has come with a lot of other features, which we'll talk about, just 5 minutes from now. So DD was frequently used for tasks like copying partitions, creating disk image, and converting the data formats. Now, suppose if you want to make a bootable device, it was not available in early part of the journey. But now, if you want to make a bootable device, DD command can be used even for that purpose. So today, if you look into the DD command, and there are new version for that, and we are going to give you a demo for that, it extends to more complex operations like data recovery and forensic analysis, which was not there in the early part of the journey. I remember that, that journey started with 91 and advanced by, by the time, advancement come to 2004 time frame, many discovery, the forensic tool has come into the market. And instead of people using the DD command, they started using much more sophisticated user-driven user interfaces and graphic user interface driven devices. And then suddenly the DD command become only the administrator's job of Linux operators. And people were not using it at all. But without DD command, you cannot, do a forensic analysis. Even if you are using GUI-based systems, technically underlying, prototype will be DD built into that. So it has got some very interesting features. The oldest feature was copying and conversion. It was, you can copy data from any sectors or, size of the block is a material and convert data between different formats. If you want to convert data from one format to another format, DD command can be an easy way of doing it. The most important part of the command is the backing up data. It's able to create backup of entire disk or partitions. If you want to take a backup of a specific partitions, you can do it. You want to take the backup of the entire disk, you can do that. So backing of the data was the core for it, and which created a new generation's forensic capabilities with a lot of changes that happened in the last 20 years. A lot of law cases has happened, a lot of learning has happened out of those law cases. Many times the lawyers teaches and the judges teaches you how to operate things. And the tools has become finer and finer over a period of time. The third important feature of DD command is bootable media creation. So if you are using live boot device, basically you are using DD command for that. Without that, you will not be able to make the live boot devices. If you want to make a bootable, media, DD command is an important way of doing it. Then the, forensic journey started. And then the DD command has become an important tool for data recovery. Now, why data recovery is important? Because disk, many times, there is a problem with the disk, hard disk, okay? If hard disk become malfunctioning, then data lying there, you cannot access it through any operating system. But if you know how to carry out a sector-wise recovery of the data, the DD command can be a helpful tool for recovering the deleted data, or recovering the sector by sector data. I don't know whether you all have heard the story that nowadays, to destroy the evidence, disks are not formatted, because formatted disks can be recovered. So they started formatting 100 times. Still data can be recovered. Then there are a lot of new technique has come for wipe disk. Technically, wipe disk, normal user cannot recover, but still, forensic expert can recover. If there is a fire in the disk, some sectors has burnt because of fire, some sectors are still alive. There are techniques to recover the data from those sectors also. So data recovery becomes a very critical component for forensics investigations, because you don't know that what has led to a particular incident. And if you want to go detail on that, then you need to know how to use the whatever information is available to convert that into actionable intelligence. So data recovery is an important aspect of DD command. You see, the initial days DD command, I remember that, if the sector size, block size is very high, it used to throw error. So block size is like, there are, and we have discussed that in day 1 itself. Day 1 and day 2 video, if you see it in YouTube, you will find more information about that. We'll not waste time on that, but, we'll just touch base on that. So there is something known as a block size for an operating system to work. Now, every operating system has got a defined block size for that. And based on that size, if you have to take the backup of the system, your tool should be capable of taking the backup of all the largest possible blocks. Interestingly, new generation DD, or particularly new command has come now, the extension of DD, which we'll talk about, has got amazing capability to use any size of the block. You will be able to gain, get the copy of the data recovered from there. And the last, the most important thing is, it is a part of the cell programming or cell scripting, or now it is a case of bash scripting. Lot of automation you can use using the DD command, and that can provide you very differentiated insights. I think there is something terribly wrong there. No. So the DD command, it's a very, very powerful tool for disk imaging, copying, backup, and progressing with any forensics analysis. Now, there is a concept known as disk cloning. Okay. Disk cloning is a concept which emanated from a problem statement that a forensic examiner in 1992 took a backup on a disk, and they carried out analysis on the disk using the write blocker. There was no problem with the write blocker, and came out with a report. Court asked that, that kindly run those tools here in my office and show me how you have achieved this. When I started running it, disk refused to boot. Now, the challenge was, if the main disk on which you have taken the evidence, if that does not work, then the evidence becomes inadmissible. And then, nothing is left. The case has been given in favor of the criminal, even though the evidences was sufficient with it, with the prosecutor, they could not proceed further. So a best practices started in 1992 that when you take any, forensics, particularly for law enforcement agencies or as an evidence to be submitted to the court of law, you need to have a clone copy of the disk available. So when you are taking the backup using the write blocker, you don't need to take one backup. You need to take sometime more than one backup, or you can take one backup and clone the disk. 2 disks can be cloned. Now, DD command also allow you to do bit by bit mapping and cloning of the disk as a real disk duplicator. So that is another feature, which is very, very powerful for doing any cloning. So when you go into the real practical, we'll try to find out, identifying a disk partition, and that feature is available as a part of your DD command. Okay. Second component is backup of a disk partition, that you can do it very easily. Third one is the creating a bootable USB device. DD command is a excellent tool for that. Fourth one is that clone a disk. How to clone a disk, and cloning, deduplicating, making multiple copy of it. As a good practice, never use the primary disk for investigation analysis purpose. Primary disk and the secondary copy of the disk should be kept, and a chain of custody need to be maintained. And we'll discuss about chain of custody in some other class, so just excuse me for that. Okay. Then the third portion, third copy of the clone disk, you should use it for all your analysis purpose. So that if anything goes wrong with the analytical disk, you still have the primary and the clone disk and secondary disks to do a further copy or cloning to do the exercises. Never touch the primary evidences if it has to be presented to the court of law, because if you are unable to make it, there, it will be very difficult for you to proceed in the case. And I have discussed about that. One very interesting command, you can use DD command for securely wipe a disk. If you want to wipe a disk completely and securely, you can use DD command. Okay. So not only you can copy it, but also you can wipe the disk with DD command. And it's a very simple command, we'll share you in the book, which I'll be sharing you. You'll have this information and we'll do some practicals around that. Okay. Now, DD command is also used for backup of an image. Now, once you've taken the image in a disk or maybe SSD drive, image you cannot do any exercise. So you have to reload into another machines to do the analysis. So when you want to do that, you have to quickly restore from a backup image and make it functional. Because image is in a very compressed format, you will not be able to make any query commands on that actually, because it's a bit by bit mapping of the entire data from the disk. So it is not a usable format. Unless you restore it in a machine, you will not be able to read it. For restoring the command, the backup image, again DD commands are used. One more thing is that many times the DD command, when you run it, you find it very difficult to find which percentage of the disk image has happened, because sometimes it goes for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and if you don't know where is the status now, there is a feature within the DD command, you can check the progress for that. And it uses a combination of grep command, and maybe possibly we'll run it and show you. So I hope I've given you a fairly good understanding of the DD command. And today we'll try to look into some feature of that, how to use DD command. Okay. Akash, over to you. If you can, take it from here for practicals. Okay. You can share your screen.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Let me give you rights for that.
I have.
You have?
Yes, sir.
You are a co-host. Again, one important thing is that DD command is a kernel level command. So it requires a sudo rights. You won't be able to use the command unless you have sudo rights available for you. Okay. You have to have the super user,
Before moving towards DD command, first we have
Akash, you're very little low. Can you come close to the mic?
Now it is okay, sir. Yeah. So before moving towards DD command, we have some knowledge about our disk also, so that we can perform operations for our disk. For know more about disk and their partitions, we have a simple command in Kali Linux, which is fdisk -l. By the following command, we got all the information about the storage media of our system. For first disk, there we have first disk, which have named dev/sda1, which is of 80 GBs, and there this time byte, and this is the disk in which our system is booted, and there next we have our next we have a USB device which is of 29.3 GB, and the name of disk is dev/sdb. And if you have more storage devices, then these were also printed there. So moving to our DD command, know more about DD command, we can type help for DD command, and there we got some basic information about it. Also, we can type man and then DD. Here you got the manual by which we can go through the manual and use the DD command. Let me clear this one. So DD command comes with various uses. We can use DD command in many ways. We can make a clone of a disk using DD command. We can capture an image of a disk. We can clone a device by using DD command, and we can also make a bootable device by using DD command. So first we have the basic syntax of DD command, which is we will type DD, then we will give if stand for the specify the input file, or we can say input disk. So let's suppose I want to make a clone of a disk which we have dev/sdb, which is our USB device. Then we will give of stand for of stands for specify the output file, or we can say output directories. We can define by using of. For now, let's define a name of our output file. Suppose let's say to kali.img. This will be the basic syntax to clone a device or disk or anything you can say. By this command, the dd command will make a bitwise copy of this particular disk and store it as an kali.img image. By hitting enter, it start processing and make a clone for this. That will first stop this. As sir said, dd command will not show you the progress which while I cancel the progress, I see that only 34 MB is copied from 32 GBs and the speed of the copy there. Let's move toward more deep into dd command. Let's suppose I have a device which is dev/sdv and I want to make a image file of a, or we can say clone of that particular device. For this, I will use dd if there we will provide the disk which is dev/sdb. Then we will give the destination which we give slash dev/sda, and the another very important option is bs. By using bs, we can define the block size for the conversion. By default, the block size will be 50, 150, 512 bytes, or we can define this size as we can what we want to define. Let's suppose we can give 512, we can 513, anything you want to give the block size there. And if we want to track the status progress of the where the how much time it will take and how many percentage of dd command will done, we can simply type status is equal to progress. As you can see, now we start getting the status of the progress. Now there 45, the following MBs is copied and time is 17 seconds and the speed of cloning disk is 4.4 Mbps. By this you can see the progress of the disk cloning. Let me stop this and we can move further. So moving towards DD command, we have more operations to do with DD command. Let's suppose I have a victim's PC. Let's suppose mm, let's suppose I have a PC, victim's PC, and I want to make a clone for this PC, or we can bitwise copy the disk of that PC. For that, we have let's suppose we have this this one the disk of the victim's PC, and then we have our device which we have plugged in this. To perform such operation, we will use DD, and then we will give if the disk for which we want to make copy, which is SDA1, SDA, then we will give our disk which we have slash dev slash s sd. By this particular command, let's suppose by this particular command, victim's PC is victim PC's disk is copied in our disk. One thing to notice is that we have to use the storage media greater than the victim's PC storage device. Another another feature for the DD command is to make a bootable device. For that purpose also we will use DD. We can use DD command. Suppose I want to make a clone, or we can say bootable device for this particular device. For this, we will use if is equal to dev slash seo, and then we will give the name of image. We can in DD command we can specify the format of image, such as we can use ISO, we can use DD file format. If we want to create a bootable device for the particular device, we will use ISO file format, which can use to make a bootable device. If we want to make a clone of device for any forensic purpose, we can make a image with file extension of DD, and another that we have used. As suppose I want to make this I I want to make a clone for this device and store it as a DD file format. For that, we will use of, and then we will give file name which we can give and anything like Kali dot DD. The and we can give status progress. We can define more options like is equal to no error. It will continue the imaging even if there are errors uh, or if there are no errors. And we will hit enter. The disk is start copying. We will got a perfect image of this particular disk, and that will store in a file format of kali.dd. You can change the file format for the purpose we want to.
Akash sir, can we change the location where we are storing this OS file?
Yes, we can. Let me show. We can also change the location for it.
Where is this file stored?
It will got stored after
Home
it
drive.
completely get imaged. It will took very much time to get image copy. I have 22 GBs of image. It will take some very high.
It will be saved in the directory, right?
Yes, but it will take some extra time. So I prefer you to use some around 2 GB, 4 GB storage device to perform these operations as a practice that will easily got imaged in such low time.
So,
Yes,
can you tell where we have to perform this task on a virtual box or on a live bootable file?
for practice purpose, you can you I will suggest you to do on virtual box. Oh, sorry, live boot, which will show less errors. And as you can see, if if I am performing this operation in virtual box, I am getting stuck somewhere. I suggest you to do in live boot, which is very convenient. So to give specific path of where we want to store the image, we can give the path as I want to make an image of this directory and we will store it. Suppose then there we can give path. That's it. Home slash downloads slash. Then we will give the name as which we want to store the image file. Let's say image.td. As you can see, it starts
Sir, we can
loading.
give absolute path for mounted device also.
Can you repeat the question, please? As you can see, here we go to the image.dd file created in the particular downloaded folder, so that we have given the path. As you can see, the size of image is getting bigger and bigger. It will stop when it completely capture the whole disk.
Sir, we can download the image on a mounted device also.
Yeah, I have shown the example of that. Let us check.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
No, we can't increase the speed of the transfer. It is some files took. We are performing on 32 GB. It will take that much time. If we have 1 TB of data, it will take 2 days, many days to make a clone disk clone. Yeah, for if we give sudo command for use these, we are using it as a root. Sudo command is used for make a command root. If we will, if we do not want to use sudo command again and again, we can boot it as a root. So please give this guide for the error of this and open. For open, let me fdiscal command also need a root permissions. We can't use simply use fdisk -l. It will ask for permission. For give permission, we will use fdiscal as sudo fdiscal, and then we'll give the password, and we got the result. We can use the fdiscal as normal user. We have to be a root user for this. Some if someone has have any queries, you can ask about the DD command. Fdisk, how to fdisk is not working. So fdisk is a kernel level command. For that purpose, to use this command, we have to be a root user. Hello.
थोड़ा म्यूट कर लेना, बैकग्राउंड का नॉइज आ रहा है.
To enter is in root we will use sudo dash space su, then enter. Will go into root. You can perform operations as a root in Kali Linux. If anyone have any queries, then feel free to ask about dd command.
Yeah, Raj Kushwaha ji, you have raised your hand. You have any questions? It's good to ask the questions directly, don't type it, otherwise people will get confused. You will get answer only for yourself. Unmute yourself and ask the questions.
आकाश सर, fdisk कमांड जो है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ ओएस की माउंटेड ड्राइव्स दिखाती है कि या पेन ड्राइव या जो भी हम एक्सटर्नल डिस्क लगाते हैं उसका भी पूरा डेटा शो करती है सर?
Kas, are you there?
Yes sir. तो fdisk कमांड जो है जितने भी स्टोरेज डिवाइसेस एक सिस्टम से अटैच्ड होंगे वो सभी उनको शो करेगा. Let's suppose let me attach a new storage device to my system. First storage device is the main disk of my operating system, which is of 80 GBs. Then we have a USB device which of 30, which is of 23 GBs. And there we have partitions of disk also. There we have HDB1, HDB2, HDB4. All the disk which is attached to a particular system, it's gonna we got show here. Good. Any more questions about fdd command?
Look, for DD command, one very important thing we need to remember, it is all about disk duplicator. What does that mean? That anything which are connected or available through disk to disk, it can be a SATA drive, it can be, DD drive, it can be your USB drive. You can use DD command on them and you can get the information from there. But through a mounted network file system that is mounted on the local system, make it appear it is a local. Okay. Even network drive यदि mounting किया हुआ है तो आपको वो local के तरह ही आप उसको उठा सकते हैं. But if you want internet से कुछ copy करना है तो for that there is DD command is not meant for that actually. Mounted device जो है उससे related information चाहिए तो मिलेगा. If you can mount the device, it's a device, it's a disk copy, disk duplicators. कई बार क्या होता है ना कि यदि if you are connected with your remote systems through FTP या SCP या SFTP के through connected है या even ArcSync के through connected है, then it is shown as a one of the network device within your system, mounted system दिखता है. And then you can use that for copying it. But if you are thinking some browser से हम कुछ copy करना है, तो I think वो नहीं होगा उससे. Okay, Akash, go to the next topic.
Yes sir. So next we have another command which is DC3DD, which is Also a command like dd, dc3dd.
Type out, Akash, and show the help.
Yes. So first we have to install the dc3dd. It is not pre-installed in Kali Linux. To install that, we have a command sudo apt get install dc3dd. I have already installed that, so we got dc3dd is already the newest version. Going through the help of dc3dd, yet we got some basic information about the dc3dd command. The basic features of the dc3dd are it can make a bitwise cloning of a disk, it can copy the disk partitions, it can also copy the folders and files. It is also
So
used
team,
to
the DC3DD command is nothing but an extension of your the DD command. But there are certain features which is very, very powerful actually. As a matter of fact, in the year 2001, there is a department under the US which is known as Department of Cybercrime Center under the Department of Defense. So in the Department of Defense, they found that, using DD command alone is not going to be very helpful. We need to build some additional patching, some other additional feature exclusively for forensics purpose. With that design, this has come. Now, as a matter of fact, if you look into, the patched version of GNU DD, then you will find that DC3DD is by design there. But sometimes you need to download that, and then you have to make it functional. So this enhancement has been a very well tailored for forensic task. So if you are using, forensics purpose, DD, I think using DC3DD is a better purpose because it has got 4 features which is not there in DD. One is the progress indicator. You can see it that how the progress is happening. Second, hashing on fly is there. So when you are copying a disk, you need to hash the file. I don't know whether all of you understand the concept of hash. Any one of you, you have not heard the word hash or hearing the word hash first time? Look, gentlemen, if you don't tell me yes or no, I'll assume all of you know it, okay? Then I'll not say. So if you don't know, please type it out, I don't know. There's no harm in saying that, Okay, so all of you know it. So I'll assume all of you know it, so no problem. So it has got built-in hashing capabilities, and that is one of the prerequisites for forensic examiners. So the most important feature, which has been added was on-the-fly hashing. It can hash the input data as it is being transferred, allowing you to verify the integrity of data without needing to run a separate hash utility afterwards. Normally, when you use the DD, you have to use another hash utility to do the hashing for that ISO image. And that hash number becomes a very important part of your chain of custody documentations. has also ensured that, subsequently it has not been tampered. The second one I have told you already, the progress indicator. Now in DD command, even if there is an error, it will keep going on. Okay, it will not do the proper error logging. But in case of DC3 DD command, error logging is a part of this process, and it has been defined based on a US court judgment that what are the logs should be there if there is a failure in backups, so that those failures can be treated that it has not been tampered, but the failures are there, which will be ignored. Or sometimes these failures can cause, destruction of evidence. So that also need to be seen. The last one is the, the important one is another important one is the pattern writing. You can write a pattern to the output file or device. This is useful for wiping disk or making certain patterns in data for testing. Is a very, very powerful, utility, and we'll work on that actually as a part of the practicals. Then you have got multiple outputs. Same time, multiple files or device, you can connect it and it can save it in multiple devices. If you have got 4 SATA device connected, or maybe external device connected, and you have 4 ports for USB 3.0 version with a write disk enabled, then all the file it can copy same time. So that is another one. Then there is something known as split output. The output, it can split into multiple files with certain size. Particularly if you have taken 10 terabyte of information. Now your disk is not coming for 10 terabyte. Okay, 10 terabyte is still disks are coming. Now suppose if it is 100 terabyte, then disk will not be there. So where you will take the backup? So this also provides a feature of splitting the information, and it is forensically proven split, so that it is not actually taking out anything out of that actually. And you can find a size, what size of splitting is required, and then useful. It's very, very useful for dealing with size limitation of storage media and the file systems. And last one is a wiping feature, which is a built-in there actually. It does secure deletions. Suppose, if a disk has been wiped out and some data remains there, and when you do the forensic backup there, those data will get mingled. So before starting the forensic things, it's a good process to wipe out everything. Many times the disk, when it is purchased, it comes to your organization, it might carry some sectors, bad sectors, or sectors which are having malware. Now, when you write it on that, the forensically and the malware misbehaves, then you have no clue how it will work. So many times sector by sector, doing the clean wiping of the disk is one of the requirement for forensically tested backup systems. So DC3 has those features built in there actually. And like, any other file, you can create an image, you can hash the while imaging, you can hash it also, you can do the progress reporting, and these are all very simple commands, you can see it. Okay, over to you, gentlemen. Akash.
Yes, sir.
Sir, is it necessary that every time we have to clone the entire disk, or we can clone only certain files which are useful for forensic examination?
Look, you don't need to do the full backup of the disk. If there is one particular file, that, why do we take the disk backup? We take the disk backup because I don't know what is there inside the disk. I'll take everything and I'll try to analyze and find the evidence out of it. If you know the disk, this particular sector, this file is the backup need to be taken, you can take the specific file backups.
Right, sir. Right.
So,
We take the disk backup only for that purpose. Yeah. Yes, please.
so मेरे काली में वो DC3DD unable to locate package बता रहा है. Installed है, a package list read कर लिया, done, building dependency tree done, reading state information done, but error in the unable to locate package DC3DD. ऐसा कुछ आ रहा है. इसकी वजह से मेरा मैनुअल भी रन नहीं हो रहा है और हेल्प भी रन नहीं हो रहा है.
Akash, can you solve it? Akash, you are on mute actually.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Akash, are you there?
Yes, sir. So you have to sir. You have to use sudo before the.
Oh, I am already in root.
You are on.
It's showing unable to locate package DC3DD. Should I remove this and install again?
Yep. Let's try
Give it a
again.
try. Give it a try.
Okay.
Here we have manual. We can go through it and perform some operations with DC3DD. Here we got all the information about the about it. So the basic syntax for DC3DD is we will type DC3DD. Then we give if which we have
Sir,
input file. Yeah. We give input file which we want to make a clone for. We can give any file name. We can give disk name. Suppose we give dev/std. Then we will give output file name. We can give kali.dd, and you can see start making clone of that particular disk as a file kali.td. Let me stop this. The ideal command to use DC3DD will be DC3DD will give input file which we have dev/hdb. Then we will give hash information. If we want to which type of hash which we want in the log file, by hash is equal to if you
Spelling
want.
mistake here.
Let's suppose if I want to make get a hash of hash MD5, we will type MD5. If you want to another hash algorithms, you can
Don't use MD5, okay? MD5 and SA1 is technically broken into pieces through a collision attacks. So recommended is SA2 or SA3.
You can use SH.
Spelling mistake here. SHA2. Yeah.
Then we can give here the log file name for the log file. File log is equal to any name we can give. Log file basically contain all the information about the progress of the cloning, hash of the image clone which is cloned, and all the information about the task which we have performed. Suppose I give there a, then we give of is equal to the file name which we want to store as image, suppose test.dd. Okay. Good spelling. As you can see, the image has started. It will take some time for storage which we are owning according to the storage. Let me stop this. The uh, another feature of DC3DD is to file splitting. We can split the image file in the pieces. Suppose we have one TB of disk which we want to clone, and we want to clone make four files, four image files of 500 or 250 GBs. For that we will use DC3 DD. If you device which you want to create image, then we can give hash.
One good practice is, when you are saving the file, it is good to write the feature of that. Okay, like SATU hashing you are writing. So the file name you can give, instead of testdd, you can give hash log type of thing instead of just writing logs. Okay. And this is coming from practical experience, I'll tell you, because many times the log files are there. Which log files is for hash, you don't know. And then you are searching 10 files, which is not required. So you should have a good naming convention as a part of the logs.
For log file name which we will give split USB. Then we will use OFSZ. This command, this option is used to create the split of the image, and then we will provide the size for how much size we want to give a single. I suppose I will give 500 MB for and then we will give the name by OS. We have to give first name, like split hash dot dd. Then dot we will give some numerical values. Suppose I want to make some files which start with 01, so I will give 01, and the file will split a file is created of 500 MB, the another file is will also will be created of 500 MB, and the name of another file will be 02 and as on as on. Right, it will start from 0, then it will go further. Thus, I have created an image of 32 GB pen drive, and it will split into 500 MBs. So the first file will be created is of 500 MB with name of split dash dot img dot 000. Will take some time. Here we got our first file, which is split dash dot image dot 000, and here we have our log file, which I have created, which contain the data about the process we are using. And that's it. The command line which we have give the command on size sector. Then if a file will create successfully, there we got our hash will stored here. Till now only 31 MB is copied. It's gonna took some extra time. There we have another way to split the files, split the image files in DC3DD, which is as there we have provided the the another way to split the files in DC3DD. We can give the how many files which we want to get after the splitting, after the image copying image. Suppose I will give the 5 file names, then it will the image will divide it into 5 files, and the 5 files, all the file got the same size. For to split file in that way, we will use DC3DD. If we will give their input dev slash HDB, and we can give hash is equal to MD5. Then we will give log file name, which is log for split. Then we will use of that as we give file size, which we give 5 GB. Then we can provide the specific output file name by OFS, and then the name we can, which we want to give to the output files. Another and very important feature of DC3D is wiping out the disk data. Let's suppose if you want to delete some data, like if you want to delete, if you have a pen drive and you want to delete all the data from that pen drive, you will format that pen drive. That is not a good practice. We can re-get the data from a formatted pen drive. That for to make data wipe out completely, we have to overwrite that pen drive. We can overwrite by zeros. In a storage device is consist of zeros and ones. We can, if we make all zeros, it will store nothing. To wipe out all the data from any drive, we can use DC3D command, and then we will give wipe is equal to, then we will give the particular disk name, file or USB name, which we have dev flash HDB, then we will hit enter. As you can see, we start wiping. It fill all the space in the USB with zeros. Let me stop this. Suppose if you want to fill the storage device with a pattern, suppose I want to overwrite and fill the data and drive using a hexadecimal patterns. We can use it by using PAT option. Suppose we have DC3 reading, then we will give wipe is equal to, then we will give the disk name, which is dev slash HDB. Then we will give pattern by PAT option is equal to, we can give any hexadecimal pattern there. Suppose I am giving equal 0 1 1 1, and then hit enter. This command will fill the disk with that particular hexadecimal pattern and wipe out the original data of that particular USB drive disk. Let me stop this. We can also override the disk by using some text patterns also. For that purpose, we will use DC3DD void is equal to disk name slash SPB. Then we will use tpat, and then we will give the test pattern which we have, I suppose CSF file, anything you can use, and then hit enter. It will fill that particular drive with that particular pattern and wipe out the original data of the disk. These are some basic use of the DC3DD command. Yes, all the informations will store in the log file of that task. I suppose this is the log file of the splitting task, which we have named as split dash USB. It contains all the information which we have, the command which we have used, how many bytes which we have to copy, and another information. It will abort at what time, it will start at what time. If a file is successfully cloned or copied, we will also get the hash of that particular file there. Hash is nothing but hash is an algorithm which we use to give a name or alphanumerical value to a file. It will input a file and then it will give a unique identity to that file. Suppose I have a file which is let's say we have file which is 1.sh. I want to get hash of that file. So we will use so we will, if you want to get it to know about the hash of a file, we will use in Linux. Then first we will provide the hash name, which I will use MD5, then we will give some, then we will give the file name, or we can give the exact path of the file which we have 1.sh. That is the MD5 hash of 1.sh. This hash will not will remain same for that particular file. It will not get changed by any way. If we change that information in file and anything in file, it will got changed. Hash is used to verify the evidence it is real or not. If we change something in file, then the hash will also change. So we can identify the file is original or not by using hash. We can also store hash in such some files. Suppose I want to store this hash in .md5 file. Try this again. Let's use SHA2 256 algorithm. Now, some we will give file name which we have. New Let's take this file and store it as in SHA256 hash.txt file. I don't know. So as this is a virtual box, so it have only read only permission to the file system. We can write over the some files. It is not showing the output, converting the output in the TXT file. If you will use as a live boot instead of virtual box, you will get the expected result for that purpose. If you are having any query and doubts about DC3 reading, you can ask now.
Akash, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so